this is the product that I am most excited about, and I've been desperate to get my hands on it. No idea why I bought this, but it was new. I didn't really know what it was gonna be, but I wanted to try it. But I do like my cheekbones to pop a little bit more. But yeah, no, I'm not impressed with that at all. I am tired, but I am super excited, and it's that excitement that is spurring me on today and helping me not fall asleep. So I have so much hyped new makeup to try in this video. Products from Natasha Denona, Benefit, Kiko Milano, Vive, Lancome, Maybelline and Morphe. So we're gonna get straight on with it and go in with brows. I've just read the box on this and I'm not quite sure what this product is. Who needs this? Who requested this? Who thought it was a good idea to bring this to market? I have absolutely no idea, but I am eager to try it, even just for the comedy value, because you know if I don't like it, it's just going to show on my face straight away. So this is the Dream Sheen Brow Glaze. I just bought whatever was new. Didn't really look at what I was buying. This is supposed to give you 12 hours of shine in the brows. Supposed to be waterproof and smudge proof, lightweight and non-sticky. This dreamy creamy gel instantly glazes brows for a sleek, polished look and a hint of shiny tint. We're going to give it our best shot anyway, even just for the giggles. So this is the applicator, which, you know, I'm not mad at. I really do quite like it. So it is one-sided, and it says to apply this to dry, clean brows. So, you know, always do as I'm told. That is such a lie. Let's go in. I don't know what this is actually supposed to achieve, whether this is for people with full enough brows already who don't have to draw a few brow hairs in and fill in the brows. It is connecting with every single hair that I have. It's making them look a little more voluminous, but I am still going to have to apply a few fake brow strokes with another product. But, you know, it went in really easily. Some of these products do tend to smudge and bleed all over the place when I'm trying to apply. This one didn't. It's very, very easy to apply. I think because the applicator is quite precise. So I have never woken up in the morning and thought, do you know what this makeup look would really benefit from? Shiny brows. But, you know, I don't think it's hideous. I don't think there's a need for it, but I don't think it's hideous. We're going to make things a little better though. I need to fill these in. Just to make them look a little more even. So I'll do that and I'll be back. Okay, I filled them in a little bit more. The shade of Brow Glaze, the Dream Sheen that I used was medium, which I think is about right for me when my fringe is down. I do like to dramatize my eyebrows a little bit more, so they do go a bit deeper. I don't know what to think about this. It was a pleasant experience to apply. I actually quite like them. I didn't think I was going to say that, but I do actually quite like them. They're a little bit messier than I would usually go for, but that is the application, although definitely didn't go everywhere on me. I don't think they're shiny. They're definitely not glittery. I don't really know what this product is for. Still a bit confused, but, you know, perfectly pleasant. Why anyone would buy that is beyond me, but pleasant, perfectly pleasant. Natasha Denona has brought out a few products in recent weeks, and a couple of them I'm going to try. In fact, 3 of them I'm going to try in this video today. The first one is the Natasha Denona High Glam Brightener. Now, the High Glam Concealer was my ride or die for so many years. This is in the shade B2. I'm hoping it's going to be the correct shade for me. I do struggle with under eye circles wrinkles and also discoloration on my lids. This applicator I really like. It's exactly the same applicator as the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, so if you've got that concealer, you'll know what you're going to get. Really like the consistency of the product. It's very liquidy, not too thick and not too creamy. I may be applying way too much underneath my eyes here, so I'm just going to stop there. So this is definitely brightening. It blends into the skin beautifully well. It's not too thick, not too heavy. My only concern is that I might have gone a little bit too light with this, and it's made my under eye circles, rather than cancelled out that pigmentation, it's made my under eye circles look a little bit grey. We'll see what it's like when there's a little bit of concealer on the top, but I do like the consistency, the texture, the blendability of this. I may just need a different shade. I've just popped a little bit of the brightener on my eyelids, and wow, it has made a huge difference with the discoloration, just the pigmentation in general. I do think it's looking a little bit too cool toned for me, and I would have to cover this over, in my opinion, with a bit of concealer, whereas I think the whole purpose of this isn't necessarily to colour correct, it's to brighten, so you shouldn't have to necessarily cover this over if you get the correct shade. But, you know, I might be wrong. I might be talking out of my rear. Let's move on. I did my makeup yesterday and did underpainting again for the first time in a really long time, and my makeup just looked so much better. So I'm going to try a bit of underpainting today with a new product from Vive. This is the Silhouette Stick, and I've gone for the shade medium. Now, you wouldn't think that I was a medium sort of gal, but I want to use this not only as a contour, but also as a little bit of a dimension builder, a bit of bronzer as well, if it's not too cool tone for a bronzer anyway. So I do like the packaging, I like the size of this as well. It's really quite diddy, so you can be precise. You don't have to get contour all over the skin, which then can then be really difficult to blend out. It tends to bleed and smudge all over the place, and then you don't get the effect of a contour that you want to be really crisp and fresh. The consistency of this and the texture reminds me of the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus. It's one of those products that, although is a cream product and although glides onto the skin beautifully well, it's not oily. It's not one of those really emollient formulas. So, whilst I'm thinking on, we are going to try a new foundation from Lancome. This is the 10 Idol Ultra Wear Shape Stick. I've gone for the shade 210, which is Buff Neutral. I am rather partial to a foundation stick. I've had great success with them in the past, although some of them last longer than others. I swatched this earlier on and I love the texture. Again, very similarly to the contour from Vive, this is a dry cream, so it's not one that's going to be super emollient and just slide off the skin. I can tell that immediately, even without having this on my skin. So instead of going in straight on the face, what I've decided to do is apply this direct from the stick to the brush. I did this the other day with a different stick foundation and got so much of a better blend. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And then with a little bit attached to a larger brush, I'll blend out the contour from Vive. Very smoothing, so easy to apply. It melts into the skin. It reminds me a little bit of a drier version of the Dior foundation stick, which I absolutely loved. In fact, I think it was my favorite foundation of 2024 or 2023. Anyway, it was a triumph, that one. Now I am going to apply a little bit of contour stick neat to my nose. This is the only area that I like my contour to be a little bit punchier, so I like to apply after foundation. I'm not sure I applied this in the correct manner because it is so blendable. It sort of disappears underneath the foundation. So just for giggles, let's just see what this is like. Adding a tiny bit more on the top, and I do mean a tiny bit more. I'm not going to do underneath my chin again because I don't like to overdo the jawline, but I do like my cheekbones to pop a little bit more. So again, you just tap, 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 and that is done. Very, very beautiful product. This is definitely a contour rather than a bronzer. I prefer bronzers, but it's very difficult to use a bronzer as contour because bronzers are generically warmer and shadows are cool. So you need, if you're going to do a contour, you really need a cool tone product, and this is perfect for that. But I wouldn't say that this was one of those products that you could also use as a bronzer. The way that I've applied the foundation, however, because the foundation, even though it is quite a dry cream, it still is a cream which is quite soft. I've used quite a bit of it. I've gone down quite a lot in the tub, so I've no idea how long this is going to last for because this is the only product that you get. So maybe it would be better if I applied this directly to the face rather than went in straight with the brush and then went to the face. But I've got to say, I really, really like it on my skin. It's medium coverage. I could probably build this up a little bit more. It has got a bit of a sheen to it. It's not matte by any means, but it's also not dewy either. It's that in between. And I am going to powder this down in place because I don't like a super glowy look, but I also like to increase longevity of foundations. Kiko Milano is one of my favourite affordable brands. I think they do some amazing products and they really are quite luxurious for the cost. So this is the Love Fusion 24-Hour Moisture Radiant Concealer in the shade 5. Fingers crossed I have the correct shade. Now, usually I don't go straight in with a concealer, but I'm just going to apply one dot. I can always apply a little bit more or buff this out with a brush if need be. I really like the fluidity of this concealer. It's once again melted into my skin, no harsh edges whatsoever. I do think the brightener underneath from Natasha Denona really helps this brighten the under eyes as well as conceal, and the radiance of the concealer, because it's definitely not matte, is helping to disguise those under eye circles even more by reflecting the light. So I am hoping that this is going to be moisturising and hydrating throughout the day and not make my under eyes look dry like some other concealers. But at the moment, I am seriously impressed. I have another product from Lancome in very, very similar packaging to the last product. Both of these are 10 Idol Ultra Wear Shape Stick. The previous one was the complexion stick. This is the blush stick in the shade 03 Flaming Rose. I don't know why, but I thought it said flamingo on this, just my brain playing tricks on me, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this as I did, at least on one side anyway. I'm going to apply it to my brush and then go into the cheek. I love the consistency of this product. Similar to the complexion stick, this is actually quite a dry cream. So although it is a cream product, it's not overly emollient, so I'm not going to feel like I'm going to lose this and it's going to slip off my skin throughout the day. I do like how this applies direct from the brush, but I am going to apply it on the other side direct from the stick just to see how it blends out. If this is your preference of application, let's just see how this goes. A lot more pigment in one area rather than more of a diffused application, but you know, I'm not mad at that. It does blend out beautifully. There is still a clump of it in one section though, so I'm going to have to go over that a little bit more, which hopefully won't disturb the foundation underneath, fingers crossed. I prefer applying it direct from the stick to the brush. I just think it's quicker to apply that way and you get more of an even coverage, just a nicer blend. I really like that colour. It is so pretty. It's very English rose. I love that. Just the right amount of warmth for me to just warm up my face a little bit more. The shade is 03 Flaming Rose. If you're after the shade on the bottom of the stick to jog your memory to see which shade you're going to get, it only has the number on the bottom, not the actual shade name. My eyes look a little bit bare, and obviously it could be the lack of mascara on there, but I'm going to take the silhouette stick that I used previously. This is from Vive. And I'm just going to put a little bit just in that outer corner to lift the eyes, just to give me a bit of a shadow in there. It just blends like a dream and melts into the skin and looks incredibly natural. It is my kind of product. I have another couple of products from Natasha Denona. And this is the product that I am most excited about, and I've been desperate to get my hands on it ever since Stephanie Marie actually mentioned it to me a couple of weeks ago that it was on the horizon. I was like, oh my goodness, because the High Glam range is one of my favourite ranges of all time. So fingers crossed this isn't going to disappoint me. This is the Natasha Denona High Glam Setting Powder. It's very beautiful packaging, very, very shiny, and you do get a decent amount of product for your money, 18 grams. I've also picked up the High Glam Marshmallow Puff. No idea why I bought this, but it was new. It was on the new page, and I wanted to try it. I didn't really know what it was going to be, but I wanted to try it. So this is the High Glam Puff. So it's just a glorified sponge, really. It's not a powder puff as such. It's not made of velour. It is actually sponge. So let's see how this actually applies. I'm going to tip some of the powder in the lid. Oh, that's good. So it doesn't, loads of the product doesn't fall out, which I think is really good. I would rather spend more time tapping than get way too much product right at the get-go. So first, let's try the Natasha Denona Puff that comes with the product, because we'll see if this is any good. You definitely don't need to buy the larger puff. I don't usually use the sponge that comes with this anyway, but this is exciting. So this is actually supposed to be, let me read the packaging, sweat and waterproof translucent blurring powder. And if you just saw that on my forehead, I went from shiny to blurred in one split second. Let me just make sure that my under eye concealer is fully tapped in so there are no creases, which I don't think there are anyway, but I always do this before applying any sort of powder. I'm going to try the rather large puff, which to me is a little too large. It's a bit cumbersome to use. It also doesn't grab the powder as well as a proper powder puff. You can use this with creams, you can use this with concealers or foundations. It's not just for powder, so it is a multi-purpose product. So no powder, powder, no powder, powder, blurred, smoothed, airbrushed. I'm not quite sure what I think about the powder puff. I mean, a lot of product has come off on the powder puff, but I think I prefer the powder puff that comes with the product, or just my generic powder puff from Trigwell Cosmetics. I don't think there is any need to buy the Natasha Denona Powder Puff. This doesn't look like powder. I don't need a setting spray to melt this into my skin. It's just already melted into my skin. How superb is that? Let's get some mascara on to complete this look. Squeeze those together. I have a new mascara from Maybelline. This is the Sky Tubes Lash Sensational Mascara. Now, I'm not massively into tubing mascaras generally. They're not usually my cup of tea. And that's because tubing mascaras tend to give you quite thin lashes. They are great at lengthening and they're great at not bleeding and smudging throughout the day, a little bit like a waterproof mascara, but not waterproof. Yeah, I don't usually like the way my lashes look with a tubing mascara because I like the volume, and very few tubing mascaras actually give you the volume that I crave for. This goes on really nicely. It's very smooth, it's not chunky, it doesn't give you the bobbles at the ends of the lashes, which I cannot abide. Very little volume at the moment. We'll see what the second coat gives. So this builds really, really nicely. This is 2 coats on both lashes now. What I would say is be really, really patient with this. So if you want to build it up and get a bit more volume out of it, wait for each coat to completely dry down before you go in with a second coat. That is beneficial because the lashes won't stick together and you won't end up with more of a clumpy look. You'll end up with looking like you've got lots of lashes fanned out. And I was a little bit impatient with this and should have just held my ground, because this set of lashes looks nicer than this set of lashes. I've added a bit of lip liner because, you know, why not? And I'm going to go in with a new product from Morphe. Now, I actually used this yesterday, if I can find it. It's still covered in the coffee that my mum threw all over my desk.
I had to finish that. Oh, no, I haven't.
Here you go, have another one.
Thank you.
I ought to have kitchen roll in here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, this is the Lip Lock Glossy Lipstick, and it's in the shade Hitched Honey from Morphe. I really like this lipstick. It is satin smooth, it is silky soft, it glides onto the lips. It's actually quite soft in texture, it's not too hard pressed, so you do get quite a lot on the lips at once. It's a balmy feeling, but it's seriously opaque. The pigmentation in here is absolutely fantastic. It's just outstanding. And it's quite a good shade range as well. So there's pinky shades and there's also brownie shades. You do get quite a lot for your cash. 4 grams worth of product. It's a steal. I am going to add a little bit more blush to my cheeks because I don't feel blushy enough. Is that even a word? Yeah, I just don't feel like my cheeks are popping as much as I would like. So there we go. And this, even over the powder, is blending beautifully. I think this is probably one of my favourite makeup looks that I've created in a really long time, probably because it's really natural, and really natural is more me. There are few products that I've used in this video that I don't like, so let's go through those first. You may be thinking that the Dream Sheen Brow Glaze will feature in the products that I don't like, and well, it is, but not for the reasons that I thought it would be. I just don't really have a need for this sort of product. I use other things in my brow routine, but I've got to say my brows look good and they're not shiny. I don't know what this is all about, but anyway, It's not my least favourite product. I won't pick up the Sky Tubes mascara again, not because this is a bad product, it is absolutely fabulous, but a tubing mascara really isn't my bag. I do like a lot more volume, and I really don't get this Natasha Denona marshmallow sponge thing. It's just a little bit too big and cumbersome to use for me. It's also a little bit too thick, which makes it cumbersome to use. Yeah, no, I'm not impressed with that at all. All the other products, actually, probably apart from the Silhouette Stick from Vive, which I think is a beautiful product, creamy, smooth, soft, precise, really love everything about it. The only thing I don't like is that this is a contour stick and not a contour bronzer, and that is not the product's fault. It's meant to be like this, it's just I prefer something just a hint warmer, so this also probably won't go into heavy rotation like the rest of the products, which I am super impressed with, and probably hard pressed to come up with a favourite because they are all lovely. Do let me know what you thought about today's video in the comment section. Have you tried any of these products already? Are you really excited to try them in the future? Or do you just think, actually, now I've seen them in action, they are definitely not for me. I prefer something X, Y, or Z. Please let me know in the comments. Have your say. Let everybody know your experiences. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give this video a share before you leave. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.